Hello, my book and wax friends. I am Amber. Welcome to my channel. I post about all things bookish and home fragrance. And today's video is all about my fall TBR. These are the books, or some of the books, because my list is actually massive. These are some of the books that I want to get to as far as my fall reading goes, and hopefully maybe you'll find some that might interest you as well. So these are books that will be ones that I read from September through November. And then I will do like a separate more October-y video that has more like Halloween-y type books, although some of these are that as well. So let's jump into it. I do have quite a few books to share with you, but like I said, this is just a few of them, but they're ones that I wanted to share. So the first one I have is a dark academia type book. It is called A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, and this is book one of her Sholomance series, and it's kind of like a grown-up Harry Potter type of series that has curses and monsters and magic, that sort of thing, and it looks really good. And I saw this, it's hard to see it because it's a library book, so you can't really see it, but I saw that awesome looking map and I was like, oh yeah, I'm in for a fun time for sure. So that one. And then another dark academia type book I'd like to get to is Immortal Dark by Tigist Girma. And this is about a girl who's been orphaned. Her name is Kadan, and her family owned and ran this school, like dark academia type of school, and her sister ends up disappearing, and so Kadan has to go back to this school that also has vampires and try and figure out what's going on. And she's to inherit the school, I think, something like that, but she has to stay there and be at the school and finish the year or something like that to inherit and find out what happened to her sister. And like I said, there's vampires involved, so should be good. Then next up, I do not have this book yet, but it comes out in October. It's my most anticipated book of the year, and that is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. This is also kind of a academia type book. It is historical fantasy, and it is about a girl who believes in magic, but she isn't sure about it. It takes place in 1920s. She goes to this class and finds out about someone named the Watchman or the Watchmaker or something like that, and she finds him and finds out magic is real, and he's able to tell her that she's going to die by the next day. And so there's this whole quest to where she has to find this thing called the alchemical heart that will save her life. And it should be a fun, whimsical, magical time. And I've heard from the author that it does take place around Halloween time. And so, of course, I have to pick for the fall. I'm excited for sure. Okay, the next ones I have to share are cozier fantasies, which does include a middle grade. The first one I have is called The Harvest of Hearts. This is by Andrea Eames, and it is about, it's similar or gives the same type of vibes as Howl's Moving Castle from what I've heard. And it is about a girl in this village who ends up getting part of her heart snagged on accident by a sorcerer. I guess the sorcerers steal hearts or to imbue themselves with more magic type of thing. And a part of her heart was snatched. And so she ends up going to find this sorcerer and working in his estate or something like that, and to try and figure out how to get her whole heart back. So I've heard it's such a cute, good, cozy type fantasy. The next one is The Crescent Moon Tea Room. This is by Stacy Savinsky, and this is about three sisters who are witches. Their parents end up passing away, and there's some sort of curse put on them, on their family, and they end up having to figure out how to come together to break the curse that wants to divide them, type of thing. And it takes place, they have this magical tea shop thing. So it looks really, really cute for sure. And then the last one is actually middle grade, like I said. It is called The Grace of Wild Things by Heather Fawcett. And this is like a witchy reimagining of Anne of Green Gables. If you've been here for a while, you know I adore the Anne of Green Gables series, one of my all-time favorite series since I was a kid. And so when I heard that about this book, I was like, sign me up. I need to read this one for sure. So it's about this girl who ends up is an orphan, and she has a lot of magic, and she ends up going and finding this witch who wants her magic. But at the same time, she ends up making a deal with, what is her name? Grace. Yeah, her name is Grace. She ends up this witch makes a deal with Grace that if Grace is able to learn every single spell in her grimoire, which is like 100, it says 100.5 spells, then she will take her on as her apprentice. Otherwise, the witch will be able to take all of Grace's magic. So I've heard it's such a wonderful book, and it is by Heather Fawcett, who wrote one of my favorite series, and that series is, where is it even? The Emily Wilde. So the Emily Wilde series, it's by the same author. So that one seems very, very cute and cozy for sure. Okay, next up I have a couple classics. The first is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And this is about Jane Eyre, who is an orphan at the beginning. She lives in this cruel orphanage. She ends up becoming a governess for, what was his name again? Mr. Rochester, that's right. And it's all about her finding herself and finding love, possibly. I don't know. I haven't read it, but I wanted to for a long time. And it is one of the books that's on my 25 books to read in 2025. And this is Gothic, spooky, perfect for the fall type of book. So this classic, and then also, I do not have the book on me yet, but I would also like to read the classic Dracula by Bram Stoker. Obviously, I plan on reading that one in October. So for my October TBR, you will see that book again, I'm sure. But everyone knows what Dracula is about. It's almost the first vampire book that we know of. There's one that came a few years beforehand called Carmilla, which I haven't read that one either, but Dracula is kind of the more well-known, where most vampire stories stemmed from. So very excited to get to that one in October. Okay, next up we have some cute contemporary styles. Some of them are magical, some of them are just straight up romance books. The first one has a magical twist to it. It's a witchy romance. It's called Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. And this one is about a girl named Belladonna Blackthorn, who is actually an owner of a bookshop. So that was another appeal for me. And she has magic, but she hasn't used it in so long that she barely has it, I guess. And she ends up finding out that, I guess, if she doesn't end up using her magic or something like that, by the time October comes, the Halloween comes around, she'll lose it altogether or die or something like that. I'm not absolutely positive, but I've heard really good things about it. Cozy, witchy romance, and it sounds fabulous. And the second book in the world, it's like interconnected, standalone. Uncharmed, I think it's called, if I remember right. I might have shared that in my most anticipated books coming out in September. I think I did. That one comes out in September, and so I wanted to get to Rewitched first. So Lucy Jane Wood, Rewitched. Okay, next up is a YA romance, and it is called Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice. Look at the cover. How could I not choose this? It is adorable, and it is about a girl named Lucy whose family owns a local coffee shop in this quaint small village in New England. And she doesn't like pumpkin spice anything. But what ends up happening is, according to the synopsis, is a big, bad coffee shop comes to town. And they're trying to take over everyone's, their business. They want to be the #1 coffee shop in town. And it's reminding me of... what is it reminding me of? You Got Mail, or a coffee shop, or not the coffee shop, the little shop around the corner, I think is the original version. It's giving me those vibes. And Lucy ends up finding out that this boy, who she kind of had a crush on, is the son of the owners of the big bad coffee shop. So sounds very, very cute. Okay, and then the last one is called Can't Help Falling in Love by Sophie Sullivan. And this is a book about fake dating, fake engagement type of thing, to where the two main characters end up catching feelings. So Lexi is looking for no strings fun when her comically bad waitressing lands her directly in the path of a handsome stranger named Will. And Will is a major works for, or an heir to a major Seattle company. And of course, he needs to show that he's stable and get married according to the will or something. Yeah, so he convinces her to have this fake engagement, and they catch feelings. It sounds really cute. Okay, then last of all is some just fantasy good times, fantasy romantasy. The first one is The Temptation of Magic. This is by Megan Scott. And this is a book about Nicole. Her name is Nicole, and she has hidden from this underground shadowy organization that controls and governs all supernatural creatures. She's hidden from them because she is what is called an Imperial, which is a shape-shifting immortal hunter. And they would force her to join them or kill her for resisting. So she ends up, there's a secret message. Sorry, I just have to read it because I don't remember exactly. There's a secret message hidden within a supernatural art collection, a key to destroying the wake for good. Nicole is just steps away from uncovering the truth when the collector is murdered and the painting stolen. And then the wake sends their best Imperial assassin to hunt down the creature responsible for the murder and find the painting. So, hunter type of story. That one sounds really fun. Okay, next up, this felt November-y to me, just by the look of it. I don't know for sure, but look at this. Doesn't this look like November vibes for sure? So Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. And this is about a girl in a kingdom. Her sister was kind of being groomed to be betrothed to this king or prince or something. and they live in a place where there are monsters and gods, and to help their kingdom, her sister's going to be betrothed to this other kingdom's prince, is what I'm thinking it is. Well, the main character ends up finding herself married instead to the prince. And it's about her journey and uncovering the lies and whatnot. And it's a romantasy, I know, and so I'm not sure much more about that. But as I said, this was giving me November vibes, and I've heard really good things about it. So I definitely wanted to pick that one up. Okay, next is Serpent and Dove. And this one is by Shelby Mahurin. Mahurin, I think is how you say it. This is a witch hunter book that ends up being forced into a marriage to each other for some reason. I don't know. But that sounds really fun. That's one of my favorite tropes for sure, is that marriage of convenience trope. So I look forward to that one. I've heard it's a really good series. And then next is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This is her newest book. Came out in July, I think it was. June or July. And it just it's another one that gives me November vibes. And this is about a girl who is a diviner. She's a seer. She's one of like 6 seers. And her sisters end up going missing one by one, and so there's this mystery she's got to figure out what in the world is going on. And she ends up teaming up with this knight who does not believe in anything that she and her sisters were part of, type of thing. And I heard there's like a gargoyle character in it that steals the show. Sounds so good. And it's giving me Gothic November vibes, 100%. Okay, and then the last book on my fall TBR, at least that I'm sharing with you guys, is the brand new book by T. Kingfisher. This is called Hemlock and Silver, and look at this. I plan on sharing it in my book haul, but I had to share it now because it's just so pretty. Look at the sprayed edges. This was the Waterstones signed special edition. It's so pretty. So this is the newest, as I said, by T. Kingfisher, and it is a Snow White reimagining about a girl named Anya, who is like a creator of antidotes and poisons, and she's all about the witchy type of life. Excuse me, sorry. And she ends up getting called into the presence of the king, who asks her to save his daughter Snow because his daughter is dying, and he thinks she's being poisoned, I think is what is happening. And come to find out that Anya finds out that there's this whole other world behind a mirror that is possibly causing the issues that are happening. I love T. Kingfisher's writing. She always has the best development as far as characters go, and the humor in her books are always really, at least the books. I've only read 2 of her books, but I've enjoyed both of them, especially Nettle and Bone, and I feel like this is going to go along the lines more of like Nettle and Bone, so that she has a little bit of horror aspect in some of her books. So I know this will be kind of a spooky, fun time, but not spooky horror, like, because I'm a big chicken. I'm not one that likes horror thriller books normally, but I know with T. Kingfisher that I'll have a good time. It won't be too much for me. So that is Hemlock and Silver. That is it, you guys. Those are some of the books on my fall TBR. Let me know down in the comments what books you plan on getting to for the fall. Are you a seasonal reader? I enjoy curating TBRs for each season is super fun. But I am also a mood reader, and I'll pick what I pick. But usually it tends to be, just like with my home fragrance choices as well, I like to melt seasonally. I like to read seasonally too. It's fun for me to do it that way. So let me know down in the comments what you're reading for the fall. Like I said, do any of these sound good to you? Let me know that as well. And I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet for more book and home fragrance content. And until next time, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.